All right, last question here comes from Richard. Richard, I'm going to paraphrase, so I apologize. Richard is asking about the importance of drag reduction for a swimmer, for example, who's swimming a 120 per 100 pace versus a swimmer who's holding a 62 seconds per 100 or faster, and wanting to know if it's more beneficial for the intermediate swimmer to focus on force output as opposed to drag reduction. That's my interpretation of your question. I hope I summarized it correctly, but pretty interesting question. Differences between drag reduction and force production depending on your skill as a swimmer as measured by speed.
Yeah, well, the simplest question is that as you go faster, drag goes up exponentially. So if you go 3% faster, that's 9% more drag. And if you go 5% faster, which is the difference between 140 for 100 and 135 per 100, it's not a big difference, but it's 25% more drag at 135 pace. All right, so that's the simple answer, that the faster you go, the more important drag reduction becomes, or having a low drag profile to start with. And I think that answers the question about the intermediate swimmer. You'll never get to that point unless you are avidly and in a very intent way focused always on reducing drag. I think probably the most eye-opening study that was ever done was a USA swimming biomechanist named Jane Kappert went to Barcelona in 1992, and she tested a goodly number of the swimmers who were there for the Olympics from a variety of countries. And she was testing force power production. She was testing stroking power in them. And the idea of the test, the study she was doing, was to advise coaches on how they could guide their swimmers about mechanics that would increase their power. The problem was after the Olympics, when she looked at the results of her study, she found that swimmers who made finals were generating 16% less power than the people who failed to make finals. And
wow.
So the skill that gets you into an Olympic final is swimming with less drag, and that at every level of accomplishment below that, the better you reduce drag, the higher you will, the more of your own potential you're going to reach.
Mm-hmm. Great. Thank you so much, Terry. I really appreciate you taking the time out to chat with everybody, and I want to thank everybody who came to tune in for our live chat. You asked some great questions, and I know we didn't get to all of them. Just want to remind you one more time, I'm going to put it in the chat window there, Bobby McGee's Run Transformation course. I'm a member of Bobby's course, and it's well worth the money. I flew out to meet Bobby in person last fall and spent the money on plane fare, hotel, car rental, not to mention paying Bobby for his time. And this is far, far less than that whole escapade was. It's well worth it. But you can get a lot of Bobby's wisdom there, and then again, the TotalImmersionAcademy.com, where you can get more of Terry's wisdom. Ricardo is here. Ricardo from Mexico. He says thank you. And Terry was with us as well, as was Splashing Pat. She says hello.
Yeah. I haven't seen Splashing Pat online in a while. Good to see you, Splashing Pat.
Pat, we'd like to see you back. So lots of thanks. And TotalImmersionAcademy.com, your next course is on Monday, right? Your live teaching course?
Yep.
Okay. Great. I think that's it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Suzanne. Thanks, everybody.
See you, Terry. Have a good afternoon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I am incredibly lucky to have found this thing that I just love to do and that I seem to have an knack for, and that doesn't feel like work. I'm a bigger believer that talent is something that you learn rather than something you're born with. And that's been supported by quite a bit of pretty serious research. Absolutely, it's true that certain people are born with certain advantages. Michael Phelps was unquestionably born with certain physical advantages over other people. But that much said,